Yeah, because like I've
Can't help it.
noticed like the difference in the way people approach targets and stuff like that. Like now we've getting to the point where like you're not talking like in my mind when you talk about like how many fish you saw, how many fish bit, how many fish you missed. Well, now I'm like, man, like I'm missing fish. Like if I don't have my shit together and a fish goes down the side and I don't see him again, like I'm like that was an opportunity.
And how did it start out? Like, what was the origin story?
Too much alcohol.
Really? Okay.
Says if God wanted us to have fiberglass boats, he would have given us fiberglass trees.
It's for fishermen. It's not for taking the wife and the wife's friends.
I think that it's a really, really pretty boat.
And then there was a blur that went by and ended up in the cockpit, as far as if I can remember correctly.
Hey everybody, State of Sport Fishing back again. Just me, Anthony Pino from the Blood Money and Hook Optics. This is State of Sport Fishing by the Billfish Company and Hook Optics. This week we got Chuck Moore from the Artemis Charleston based boat and the chairman of the South Carolina Blue Marlin Invitational. So appreciate you joining us, Chuck.
Thanks for having us, man. I've been a big fan for a long time. It's
Thanks,
nice
man.
watching you grow, man. You guys are starting to blow up a little bit. Very
Thanks,
cool, man. It does a lot for the industry, in my opinion.
I appreciate it, buddy. Try to do things right and tell a decent story and get to know people. So you're that guy this week. So we appreciate it.
Appreciate you having me.
Well, let us get to know you first a little bit in the Artemis program, and then we'll get into the Invitational a little bit.
Yeah, man. I've been working on boats since I was 15. Started on head boats and out of Shem Creek in South Carolina and some commercial boats, and then worked my way to be a mate on a sportfish boat on the A dock with some what I consider big names, Bobby Garmany, Reed Boss, that's the Dim Boys captain, splashing a new Duffy boat right now, and Jay Weaver. A lot of great guys came off that dock. Richard Brackett, some really good captains. Can't even name them all, but it was nice, learning from those people. John McNamara, I learned a lot about how to take care of a boat from those guys, which in my opinion is probably the hardest part of the job. And then just moved up. I started running a 61 Buddy Davis, got that opportunity and stayed on it for a while and jumped on a BBC boat and started doing that circuit in the early 2000s and just kind of progressed from there.
Gotcha. And how long have you been on the Artemis?
I've been on the Artemis for 5 years now.
Wow.
And a year and a half of that was in the boat yard. So
I got you.
we had my first year running the boat. I'd just come off of a boat called Griffin and started working for John, and always wanted to work for these guys. I've known them my whole life. The kids fish with me in other places as my anglers, and so when the opportunity came up, I didn't turn it down. And started working for them in 2018, and we started off doing really good. We came in place in the Bow Hicket tournament, and I was coming off of a Governor's Cup Series win from 2017, so we just kept it rolling. And coming into the last tournament, I was one Blue Marlin out of the lead for the series, and I was walking up with an armful of groceries to the boat. It just stopped raining, and a lightning bolt hit the boat, and I dropped the groceries and scared the crap out of me. And the boat turned purple, and a year and a half later, we put her back in the water. We spent a lot of money on it and made it right. Put an Omni Sonar in it, and Seakeeper 9, new 12 V-new mans, full paint job, just a total refit of the boat.
Wow.
Yeah.
One of the only I guess real traveling express programs on the East Coast. So it's got to have its own challenges, it's not having that space there,
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I love it. It's a great boat. It's a very personal boat. I think that's why my boss loves it, because when he invites his friends to fish, there's no hiding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not going inside and getting away. I feel like that he really likes that. And it's a big family program, so it kind of works out. Schedule fishing is kind of hard on a boat like this with the weather, but we make it work when we can. And the boat's really fishy. The boat's won the Governor's Cup Series, a bunch of Governor's Cup tournaments. It's won the Big Rock with I think a 690. It's had 2 captains prior to me. They're both very good friends of mine. So it's nice to be able to turn to them with questions when I need answers. But after the refit, I don't think anybody knows this boat better than me now.
Oh yeah.
I was given free reign to design the engine room, and I had some really good help at Jared Bay, my buddy Derek. He and I lived on this boat for a year and a half and got it done. And it's been a ride. I still can't believe we're not in the boatyard.
I gotcha. Yeah.
It's hard to see the light.
So cool, man. And what is it? I mean, for you as a captain, I assume you run the boat from the tower. You have the sonar control up there and everything like that. And
I've got full sonar control up there and downstairs.
Oh wow!
I just have, I have to switch it. I have to unplug that 18 prong plug or whenever I want to run from down here. I never run from down here.
I got you.
Even in the rough days in Big Rock. I mean, I feel like I'm missing out if I'm down here. And I mean, it's so close to the action. I feel like I need to wear a pair of gloves when I'm down here,
Yeah.
But I redesigned my cushions this year. They're like scallops, so they kind of keep me in the chair a little bit easier up there. And the Seakeeper 9, I couldn't do it without that. So
yeah.
That's a lot. And my tower's tricked out. Took the steering wheel out and put a follow-up autopilot stick control up there. We put Optimus steering on the boat and did away with all the problems you and I talked about earlier that these older boats start expressing, or we got rid of all of them. So
Yeah.
Butters, Crypto Quiet did my stuff, and they're a great product. They're actually sponsoring. They're my first sponsor this year in the tournament. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, man. Well, and then what about like? I mean, you say it's a personal boat. Like when you're running out, like there's no alone time. Like I assume that there's people chatting with you the whole way out, like in the morning, stuff like that. Like I get on the boat and everybody on my boat goes to sleep, and they're all down here. And if sometimes I think about it, I like if I fell off this boat would just end up in Portugal, So
I've got tossed out the helm chair a couple of times. I usually just land on the sleepers. I got a couch on my right, a couch on my left. This Express boat's set up a little different than most. It has a center pod steering area that's raised, and so I can see over the big bow of this thing. And it's got a bench on either side, and then we have like blow up mattresses that lay down. My boss, he gets the sweet spot downstairs, but they all find a place to rest their head. And I usually have, some quiet time. Every once in a while, somebody's up trying to talk to me, but that can be kind of tough. When we're fishing, though, I have the tower to myself, and that's important in my opinion. I always do better without an owner or anybody, and for that matter, in my ear, trying to, they're just taking my attention away from what I need to be doing. And now with the sonar, I mean, I live in that thing, and so I run it myself, which I feel like this boat has an advantage with that because I have a lot of people that can see in front of the boat when you're on these boats. So, and I tell them right out the gate, obviously we're all mic'd up with the ear techs, and I tell them right out the gate, if they see a boat in front of us, to say something. Don't assume I see it because I live in that machine, and it's kind of changed the way I fish a little bit.
Yeah, I get fortunate enough, I get asked to go be the sonar guy when we're not like in a couple of places. I was in Costa Rica for the Los Sueños thing, and I'm like, it's really strange to be up there, like, because I'm the same way as you. Like, I almost need to be up there by myself, or I will lose focus. Like, if like I need to be up there by myself running it and kind of focus on everything that's going on around me. Like, it's weird because like when you're fishing by yourself up there, you need to be like, it's less focused, because focus like feels like you got to be like directly attentive to one thing, but like maybe more in tune with everything's going on. Like you got to be aware and in tune with what's going on. And I'm like,
well, you just want to be in control of it all. You feel like you see a target, even if you're running someone else's sonar. I mean, you just want to grab the wheel and start turning it.
Yeah. Because like I've noticed like the difference in the way people approach targets and stuff like that. Like now we've gotten to the point where like you're not talking to, like in my mind when you talk about like how many fish you saw, how many fish bit, how many fish you missed. Well, now I'm like, man, like I'm missing fish. Like if I don't have my shit together and a fish goes down the side and I don't see him again, like I'm like, that was an opportunity, you know. And sometimes I find it interesting, like to observe the different ways that people approach fish, and you know, being the helper up there. Like the way I look at it when I'm running, like helping somebody be attentive to the sonar, it's kind of like, I'm here to give you the information and you can do what you want. If you don't think that mark is worth going towards, that's on you. That's not my decision. My thing is to just be there and make sure that we're seeing everything within 1,000 feet of the boat, and then you can deal with the rest of it, you know. So but it's super interesting, but I still feel like I do better by myself.
We've had ours for since we splashed down, so 3-4 seasons now, and I'm still, you know, I'm by no means am I new Mark Pagano. I know he's one of the top guys that has it dialed in. I'm gonna try to get him to fish with us this year. My boss and his kid bluefin tuna fish with him in the winter. So I mean, there's always something to learn. There's so many talented guys out there now. It just comes down to maximizing your opportunities. You know, if everybody's good, everybody's getting 20 shots, and whoever makes the most of them is going to win.
Yeah.
That's where we're at now. So
yeah, it's crazy what it's come to. I mean, even, you know, even on the East Coast now, like in the tournaments up north and in Ocean City, it's like you go by a boat and everybody's holding a rod. Like people are pretty. It's gotten to a crazy point now where you're not just going out there putting your feet up and waiting for a rod to bend over. You know,
it's changed. I mean, it's in my opinion, it's pushed some people out a little bit. You know, you get these owners that don't have the resource to stack a deck with these guys. And
yeah.
That's where we went with this tournament. You know, it's a blue marlin tournament. It's strictly a blue marlin tournament. We do have release categories, dailies, but you know, it's a kill tournament. It's what it is, and it's a tournament where it's like Big Rock. You can go out there and get a bite and win the tournament. You know, and you don't need a sonar to do that, or you don't need a stacked deck. You can go out there and pull your lures, and if you have a great day, but you don't get a kill fish, you know, you can still win some money. You know? Yeah. It's kind of where we were going with it. And also, you know, we want to generate money for Memorial Reef because we're donating a bunch of that. So they sink ships off. Is that better?
Yeah, it's way better.
Is that way better?
Yeah, we should probably do it. So we were talking about your tournament and the premise behind your tournament, which is it's a blue marlin tournament. And, you know, I mean, the boats that have stacked decks are going to have an advantage, but not the advantage that, you know, that it would be in a straight like dead bait, white marlin or sailfish tournament. You know?
I agree.
A bit more open.
I feel like, you know, a lot of the big fish are killed on lures, whether or not people are mixing it up, pitching to fish, whatever. But I mean, that's like when I fished the BBCs, we had some bait fishermen out there, but most of the big fish were caught on lures. And it was just snag and drag, and you know, you just don't have to have a ton of skills to make that happen. You know what I mean? So I feel like it opened it up for a lot of people. And then we stretched the dates out from May 1st to May 23rd. You get to pick your 3 days, 8-hour days, and you can overlap other tournaments that we have at the time, some Governor's Cups. But you get to pick your days. You know, you don't have to have a seakeeper, and you don't have to have a tight schedule, and you can fish when the fish are here. And so that increases your opportunity of catching them. So we feel like, you know, that's kind of where we were going with that.
Yeah. The fishing, obviously, that May fishing in Charleston is it can, I mean, it's good, but it can be very, very, very good for people.
It can be very good. I've had, just by coincidence, I'm sure, the first day I came home with my sonar, I saw 7 blue marlin. Yeah. And that was unheard of. Now, did the sonar help do that? Yes. We didn't get bites out of them at all. A lot of them were in the current, and you just get that current bite, you know, that half-ass. Yeah. Come back kind of shit. But we did catch 2 or 3 that day and missed a few more. So, but yeah, the bite can go off in April. I mean, last year we had 9 boats in the tournament, and it was our first year. And so, you know, we were still kind of proving it. And we ended up winning it with a 504.5. And I had to listen to that. I'm still listening to it. because it was my. But you know, it's not like we tied it to a stump or anything out there.
Yeah.
Went out there and caught it, shoved some lead up the fish's butt, whatever. So I feel like it may have saved the tournament because people saw, you know, we won 80 grand with 9 boats. So we've already got 17 boats signed up right now. And, you know, I'm expecting at least 10 more, I would imagine. Once the money gets up there, then people start getting into it, you know. When they realize the money to be won. I think we're just over 220 right now with the jackpot. So the winning fish right now will bring $156,000 to the winner.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
I mean, if you think about it, if you get to 20 boats and you're pushing 350 or whatever, almost 400 grand. I mean, a 1 in 20 shot to winning, you know, 200 grand, or even where it's at now, 1 in 17 shot and winning, you know, $176,000 for, you know, and a just over $250,000.
Yeah, it's a good bet.
First, it's a great bet. It's you know, like in the big tournaments we have up in Ocean City, you know, you're thinking of the boats that win that sort of money, and it's like, it's basically, maybe there might be 7 or 8 boats out of 200 to 400 boats that win enough money to cover their ass in those tournaments, you know. So it's a great premise, and you know, it's the idea of having, you know, the odds more in your favor, I think, is a huge attraction, you know. Like, if there's something, I think there's a niche for tournaments that don't have 100+ boats, you know. I mean, obviously there's the niche for the big events, but the more personal events, the more the chances though of winning. And however your tournament may be structured, blue marlin, sailfish, whatever, just having the idea that you do have a chance to win would just compete against 25 or 30 boats versus 200. I mean, I don't even know what that's like personally.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
But it's
we have like our dailies are worth right now, I think, right around 17,000. So even going out there and, you know, you don't have to catch more than one. You just catch the first one based on your first fish, pay for your tournament. I mean,
So the dailies are, I assume, are based on like everybody's first day fishing, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
And then, you know, and so on and so forth. And that's how we determine it. And they also win a set of Crypto Quiet Cutlass pairings if they win the daily. They're our daily sponsor. Duffy Boat Works is our jackpot sponsor. We have so many good sponsors on board this year. I want to say we have 28. We have your dad, Squid Nation. Yeah. We have Marlin Mud Flats, RJ Boyle, Fish. I think we got Fish Razor, Firetails. We've got Faruno, LP, Release Marine, Stay Stuck, Andy Moyes. I mean, we just kind of like, I went after all the industry leaders.
Yeah.
Because we just want to be able to give a bunch of stuff away. So we raised $14,000 worth of prizes for an early entry raffle. So every one of those boats got in before April 1st, which was all 17 of them, will be eligible to win that prize the night of the party. So we'll be giving that away. It's a bunch of dredges from your dad, a bunch of dredges from the people I just mentioned, a bunch of tackle, some Yeti coolers. We've got like the local tackle shop, Hadrils on board. Our local diesel guys like NDI. I could just keep listing them, man. We have so many great sponsors that have done so much for the tournament. You know, Palmetto Ford. I mean, that's Graham's boss. Sport and Life. I mean, Mike Glazer's boss. He got on board with us. So I feel like it's going to be a good turnout. We got a great band, some good barbecue to give to people, open bar, and a bunch of door prizes to give away. On Cloud shoes, man. We got all kinds of stuff.
Fantastic.
I wanted to call Stetson and get some Jordan shoes, but we might be too early in the tournament for that. Yeah. Maybe in 5 years.
Yeah, never know, man. Hopefully you come back and fish those tournaments. That's amazing. I mean, I think, like I said, I think the premise of it's fantastic, and just making it kind of a more relaxed thing, and winning and having the chance to win. I think it's a great premise, man. Having a, you know, I mean, having a 1 in 17 shot doesn't make it's still competitive with the group you guys have fishing out of Charleston. You know, it's you know, you guys have some talented guys there, but Oh fuck.
May is blue marlin time for Charleston. It just is what it is. I mean, you might see a sailfish, you might see a white, but I mean, people like John Meade come there and hang out in May for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, and they come there to fish for blue marlin because they know how good it can be.
Yeah, man.
It's not a pressure, you know.
Well, I mean, in the continental United States, there's, you know, not many places that you could run 40, 50 miles, 60 miles and possibly see, you know, 3, 4, 7 fish a day, you know. I mean, it's good fishing. And Charleston, that area, you guys, in April, May, I don't know if there's a better place in the world to be. So.
I really think there is. I think that we're not getting the attention we need. But, you know, you got guys like, we have 3 marinas. Toller's Cove is actually one of our sponsors and one of our way stations. We have Georgetown as our other way station. Toller's, you know, they have cheap fuel and everybody likes that. So
yeah.
And Kevin does a good job keeping the guys happy there. I mean, you stay there too, don't you, when you come through?
Yep.
You stay?
Yep. Well, they've always, no matter how busy they are, they seem to accommodate us. So I always appreciate them having.
He's been on board since day one, since we concepted this thing. I mean, I talked about doing a tournament here in town for a long time with Dan Jacobs, and we just couldn't get the venue, man. May's a tough time to get a marina to agree to give you slips. They have huge transient deals, and Safe Harbor taking over our biggest marina, and they are a publicly traded company. They are all about that bottom line. So as far as May's concerned, it's off the table. So yeah, man.
I think it's you have 17 boats now, probably anticipating a couple more, you know.
Yeah, I would think 25, you know, and I've already got rumor of a few boats that are like, we're not going to get in. Well, now the money's up there, and they're like, whoa, you know. Nobody really knew where this thing was going. You know, last year we had 9 boats, and this year I pushed a little harder. I got sponsors on board and some big names to help legitimize the tournament. And you know, you can't do it without sponsors in this tournament for sure. You can't. We didn't have anything. Next year we're just going to roll the money. We keep 12%. We give 5% to the South Carolina Memorial Reef. They buy ships, sink them in 350 feet of water, and create MPAs out of them for bottom dwellers. And it's just a really good program. It's headed up by Amy Dukes now, who's the DNR liaison and also runs the Governor's Cup Series now. So, and I've got newfound respect for all of those girls, because putting together a tournament and running these things is not an easy task.
Yeah, we have a
full-time job, man. It's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, we have a new tournament in Ocean. This will be, I think, the 3rd year, a small tuna tournament, a ladies tuna tournament put on by my friend Pam Taylor, Tuna and Tierras. And, you know, it's a similar, you know, 17-25 boat tournament, like kind of a more relaxed, fun thing. But, you know, there's a little bit of money in it, and, you know, it's a good time, and during a good time for tuna fishing in Ocean City. But it's a lot of work. She puts in a hell of a lot of work, and I get it, man.
I could do it without. I got people helping me. I got one paid girl, my accountant, my boss's son's helping with the social stuff, which I don't have to tell you. I need help with that. It took us about 15 minutes to get some sound on this thing.
So
probably more like 30, but who's counting, right?
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so it's a lot of work. It really is. And sponsors and like getting in touch with these people, and these guys are fishermen. Like your dad, man, I was touching base with him. He was like always in a different place fishing for something, like different country. I'll call you, I'm on a plane, I'm in an airport, you know, and so it's tough to get everybody on the same page. And it's not going to be over until the last check is written to the last winner. You know, then it'll be over and I can breathe, and hopefully this thing will be on autopilot next year a little bit. We'll have some capital in the bank, so we'll make the tournament bigger, with better venues, better food, you know, just more, you know, just kind of bring the ambiance of it up a little bit. More prizes. We're really all about giving some prizes away. Hopefully next year I can give an LP away for an early registration prize, and we're just trying to like give stuff back to the crews and the owners. And like I kind of followed the BBC format a little bit. We have a floating benchmark. Starts at 105. Once we have 2 qualifying fish, the shorter of the 2 fish will be the new benchmark, because we don't want it to turn into a free for all. Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
And we're all about conservation as well. There's, we can still harvest a few marlin and not hurt the population. So, and that's kind of where we're at.
I like the idea of the floating benchmark, man. I think it's something that maybe other tournaments should adopt.
I agree.
Having that move. You killed 2 600-700 pounders in a tournament up here. I guess that there's a third, but you killed a couple fish over 500, and next thing you know, there's a 410 come in. It's like, it kind of sucks to see,
It does, man. It happens. And so I think to keep everybody happy, the floating benchmark is definitely the way to go.
How do you handle that floating benchmark? Do you just send a text out? Like when it changed, you say, hey, this is the new standard.
We have real-time apps too. That's our tournament app generated. So it'll be on the real-time app. As soon as the length comes in, when you go to check on your fish, it'll be on there in your face. There's no excuses why somebody should do it. Should bring a shorter fish in. There are some people that complain a little bit about it. We've all seen it. We've all seen the 108-inch fish that weighed 450, and then someone brought in a 107 that weighed 510. So you can't make your rules based on the outlier. The formula generally works, and so at some point you just have to say this is what it is, and sorry if you don't like it. Tournament.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. I mean, we can't make everybody happy in any of these tournaments.
No, but seems like you're trying to make as many people as you can happy, and still maintaining, a fair bit of conservation in it as well. I mean, I think I like a lot of it, man. I think it's awesome.
Putting some money back into the reef. That's a very good program. It was started. I wish I had the date on it when it was started, but one of our good friends died, and it was kind of started in as a memorial to him, and that's kind of just progressed from there. And so it's grown, and last year they sunk a ship, and they just keep putting them out there. They work. I mean, I've won tournaments on it. I mean, the year I won captain of the year for In the Bite, it was 2017. We won the Governor's Cup. I had the silver fox on the back deck, man. Can't go wrong with McDevitt.
Yeah.
I had my mate, who's now running the Griffin, is the captain of the Griffin, and I had some other guys that have moved on to successful programs and been really successful. And Brad, my old mate, he was there with me for a couple of tournaments when we were winning, and he's mating for Noah now on Duffy's boat. So, and that's kind of a testament to you as a captain. When these guys move on to these good programs and they excel, it kind of reflects on you,
Yeah, I agree. Happy to
taking care of a boat, because any of those programs, you have to be all of that, or you're going to be left off.
Mates are like peacocks. You got to let them fly.
Yeah, man. This is we laugh. We call this a training boat. They come on here. I got a great mate that trains them up, and then I teach them how to take care of a boat. So it looks brand new all the time, and you never know who your boss is going to be in this industry. Your next boss, it's a guy walking down the dock that sees you working every day, and he's like, I want this guy on my boat, and you get approached. That's kind of how it goes down. I mean, Mumford said it best, he who works the hardest wins the most.
Yeah.
So it's kind of how my philosophy, good work ethic will carry you through your life.
Yeah.
Took a drill sergeant to kick it into my ass, but I got it. I figured it out.
Yeah, it took me a while.
I had a little stint in the Army there driving a tank. Stay off the road.
I got you.
Yeah, straightened me right out. Cut all my blonde hair off and put that size 12 boot out my ass. It was over, bro. shit became real right at that moment.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't think it was. I was like, this is nothing. I turned around and was like, I'm moving as fast as I can. And that was the last thing I said to him ever. I learned real quick to shut up, which I've already, I do like to talk a little bit. So.
Cool, man. Well, I think it's all going to work out, Jucky, man. I think you got a great premise for a tournament, and I think I've got a lot of sponsors that believe in us, and that's the whole thing for me. Is like up until last week, and we had like 2 boats, man. I ain't gonna lie, I was sweating. We were like 5 days from the
from the deadline. And I'm thinking one of these two boats are going to win some big prizes. And and they just avalanche. Thank God. But, you don't want to let your sponsors down. You got these guys donating money and goods and trying to get the thing off the ground. And then I'm just thinking about what happens if we don't get boats. I mean, how do I get this stuff back? Can't keep it. It's not the way things work. I mean, I would obviously donate the money somewhere, and it is going to a good cause now. So it worked out, and hopefully it'll grow every year. We'll get a little bit more boats in there, and maybe one day we'll have 50 or 60 boats. We're definitely not looking to be another Big Rock, and but we are looking to fill a little bit of a gap in Charleston. So
yeah, it's like I said, it's a great premise and a great place in the world at the right time. There's, as far as the weather and the fishing and everything in Charleston in the spring is hard to beat. So
yeah, we lost some tournaments, with COVID, man. Hickett fell to the wayside for a little while, and then they're back this year. They're coming back after 3 years, and they're coming back strong. They have a really good format, a lot of money. HMY, Tim Gredick and his crew are putting on a new tournament. The way it works is you have to prove a tournament, and then next year they'll be in HMY and they'll take over the Omega Dot dates, which I fully believe they'll get a venue because of the month that they're choosing. So, and that tournament is being held like right between Georgetown and Bohicket, full release format, but you can fish my tournament and their tournament and at the same time. So they've all been very accommodating. So
yeah,
Bohicket especially. So.
Well, cool, man. Sounds like the season's it's just about to start there. So hopefully you get home from the Keys and get after it.
I can't wait, man. I got to get away from these yellowtails, man. I'm turning into one. I did get to go home and turkey hunt with my son, and he doubled on the opener. So that was cool. And he's since doubled again with a friend. My buddy called me up and said, "Can I take your son hunting?" And I knew they were going to have success, and I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but I'm okay about it. It's been a while. He's shot like 11 of those things now. He's only 13. I got a daughter who just started driving. So she's couriering checks around for the tournament. I'm paying her a little scratch for gas money. So it's working out, keeping the family, But I do have some good help. My buddy Peyton, he and I kind of concepted this, and JC, my boss's son, sword fishing on the back deck the year before last, just talking about, we'd always talked about doing it. And it was just finally time to just pull the trigger,
Yeah.
It's a lot, but you got to start bank accounts, all kind of stuff, man. I've been pretty much not easy and just scary. You putting your butt out there on the line a little bit. So, but it looks like it's working out, man. So I'm pretty happy. I guess I'll get some sleep next week.
Yeah, I think it'll be great, man. I think it'll be a good turnout this year, and hopefully next year, like once people understand the premise and see what's possible and what Charleston and the fishing offers, I think it'll be great, man.
I like it. I like to hear that.
Well, cool, buddy. I appreciate the time, and good luck with everything, and good luck to everybody fishing the South Carolina Blue Marlin Invitational. I think it'll be a huge success. Might not be a huge success this year, but in the years to come, everything takes a little bit to build. So
I think it'll keep growing, man. I wish I could say I was going to see you up north this year, but it's just not in the cards for the Artemis. I'm not going any further than Big Rock.
I got you.
And then next year we'll be back to Ocean City. And man, it's been 2 years and I cannot wait. I love it up there. And then I think on our 20th anniversary, we're going to take it back to Bermuda. It's been over there a couple times. And
gotcha.
So I had 12 seasons over there, and then I went cold turkey. That's a tough thing to do, man, in a place like that. That place is special.
Yeah. Well, cool, buddy. I appreciate the time, and like I said, we'll get this out and hopefully get you a couple more boats.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
You guys should slide in there.
I would love to, buddy. I got to get the engine back together first and see.
You got the right guys. You got the right guys for it, though, man.
Yeah.
For that area.
So
one of our guys in Charleston just got his man stuff, so I'll be able to use him now instead of having to get Nate to come all the way down because it's tough, man. You got to pay for lodging and food and everything. It's expensive for an owner, and we just didn't have a lot of support in Charleston, but we do now. So
yeah, Nate and Donnie are the whole reason why this boat comes here. Just to keep good care of it. So
They're good guys, man. They always, they're like my guy in Charleston, the MDI guy, Tony. They just take care of the boat, but when they're done, the boat, it doesn't look like they were there.
No,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They clean up behind themselves like better than anybody. And that goes a long way with me because I'm usually the guy who has to do it if they don't. So.
No, I just painted my engine room floor before I got down here, and we discovered this problem, and there's plenty of coverage on everything. So I'm super thankful that we got them working on the boat. So
how much longer do you think you're gonna be there?
Oh shoot, we just started on Monday, so we're still. I'm hoping that it's no more than 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, but we'll see. So
cool, man. I had to take a couple shots of tequila before I started this, man. I was getting a little nervous. So. You know the deal, man. I didn't know what to expect. I was like,
yeah. So
having a panic attack or something.
It's easy, buddy. Just chat. Just talk fishing, man.